It was the morning of September 11, 2001. New York City was alive, bustling with its usual rhythm. People were going about their everyday lives, unaware that this day would soon become one of the darkest moments in history. The sun shone brightly, and everything seemed normal, but fate had something far more chilling in store. And then, it happened. A plane, seemingly out of nowhere, appeared in the sky, heading directly toward the World Trade Center. The air felt different, as if something was amiss, but no one could have predicted what was coming. The plane crashed into the tower with a deafening roar, and an explosion shook the city. The world seemed to stop in that instant. A silent shockwave ran through every soul who witnessed it. Was this a mistake, a tragic accident, or was there something more sinister behind it? Before anyone could comprehend the magnitude of the disaster, another plane was seen, coming from the sky with the same horrifying intent. It struck the second tower.
Mayor, any idea how this happened?
Not right now, not right now.
Correspondent.
The growing panic, the heartbreak. Every person, whether directly involved or witnessing from afar, felt as if the ground beneath them had shifted, as if the very foundation of life had been torn apart. What was once secure now seemed fragile, and nothing seemed real anymore. As the towers burned and began to collapse, chaos erupted. The world seemed to be falling apart, and in the midst of it all, there were people, heroes, everyday individuals, fighting to save lives, pulling the wounded from the wreckage, desperate to find survivors. Yet, in their eyes, there was fear. They were just as helpless as everyone else. With every person they saved, they knew there were many more still trapped, still waiting for a miracle that seemed less and less likely. But in those moments of desperation, something extraordinary happened. Hope, though faint, began to flicker. Some survivors managed to crawl from the debris, their clothes torn, their faces covered in dust, but their spirits still fighting. For them, the horror was far from over, yet they clung to life with every ounce of strength they had left. The people who saw them knew that hope was not lost entirely. Still, in their hearts, a question remained: how many more were still waiting? Would they make it out alive, or would this be their last moment? The world was in shock, but there was also a sense of solidarity that began to spread, a unity that hadn't been felt in a long time. As the news traveled across the globe, people came together, offering their support, their prayers, and their help. Countries, communities, and strangers united in grief, but also in strength, showing that even in the darkest of times, humanity can rise above hate and violence. Yet, as the dust settled and the enormity of what had happened began to sink in, the question lingered: what now? Could this tragedy define us, or would we find the strength to rebuild, not just the towers, but our lives, our nations, our hopes? In the days that followed, as the world mourned, one thing became clear: 9/11 had left an indelible mark on every heart. But it also ignited a spirit of resilience, a force that would not be broken. The survivors, the first responders, and every person who lived through that day proved that the human spirit could withstand even the most unimaginable horrors. This was not just a day of loss. It was a day that would forever remind us of our vulnerability, our strength, and our unbreakable desire to rebuild and heal. The memory of those we lost, the courage of those who fought, and the unity that followed would continue to echo through time, reminding us that even in our darkest hours, we can rise again.